Today I want to talk about something few people want to name out loud. The ways in which delusional white supremacy has again and again used proximity to whiteness to divide black people, to pit us against each other, to splinter the strength of our community so it never reaches its full power. On plantations, delusional white supremacy didn't just shackle our bodies, it shackled our trust in one another. Enslavers created hierarchies among us, lifting some above others based on how closely they could mimic white ideals, skin tone, hair texture, and speech. Those of us with lighter skin, often the children of grape, were sometimes given privileges, housework instead of field work, a slightly better diet, less direct brutality. But let's be clear, no one escaped slavery. These divisions weren't about kindness, they were about control, a calculated tactic to sow resentment, jealousy, and mistrust within the black community. And it worked. Colorism was born there, and it still lives here. After emancipation, you think we would have had the chance to come together. But again, delusional white supremacy adapted its strategy. During Reconstruction, black political power grew rapidly. But to fracture that momentum, white society began to elevate a talented tenth, as W.E.B. Du Bois called them, those who were educated, well-spoken, and respectable by white standards. The idea wasn't just about excellence. It was about who was palatable to white audiences, who could be trusted to represent the race in a way that wouldn't make white folks uncomfortable. It wasn't just about education. It was about assimilation. Oh, I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down today. In the early 20th century, that brought on more manipulation. In cities where the Great Migration took us north, white elites engineered division by class and complexion. Light-skinned black people formed exclusive social clubs like the Blue Vein Society, where membership was literally based on whether your veins were visible through your skin. This wasn't organic, it was the residue of white value systems being imposed on our people. At every step, proximity to whiteness offered access, but always at a price. Disconnection from the masses of black folks who couldn't or wouldn't play the game. Code switching before code switching was even a thing we say. Even the civil rights movement wasn't spared. While giants like Martin Luther King preached unity, media and politicians favored the faces and voices that echoed white liberal respectability. Those who demanded radical change like Malcolm X and then later the Black Panther Party, Stokely Carmichael, Angela Davis, Rap H. Brown, they were often silenced, sidelined, or demonized. And if you want a more modern example, just look at the war on drugs. In the 1980s, the crack epidemic devastated black communities. The state response? Criminalization. But when the opioid crisis hit white suburbs decades later, it was framed as a public health issue. Once again, white proximity determined who deserved compassion and who deserved cages. Now we see this in corporate boardrooms, in media, in politics. There's always a select few of black folks elevated, celebrated even, as long as they don't rock the boat too much, as long as they make whiteness feel safe. In our own communities, the scars show. Light skin versus dark skin, HBCU elitism, class divisions, respectability politics. These aren't natural. They are the aftershocks of centuries of manipulation, of a system that knew the only thing more dangerous than a united black people was a free black people who were also united. So when I speak on this, I speak not from judgment, but from heartbreak. Because I see us hurting each other with the tools we didn't forge. I see us measuring our worth by standards we didn't set. I see us fighting over crumbs of pie when we baked the whole damn thing. But I also see something else. I see resistance. I see black folks unlearning, reconnecting, reclaiming, loving each other across differences. That's what scares the delusional white supremacists. Not our rage, but our courage to heal ourselves from oppressive mindsets that tore us apart so long ago. Because when we name these divisions, when we reject the lie that some of us are more worthy than others, when we come back together, when we don't just break the cycle, we break their racist system. Our unity is the antidote of oppressive mindsets. The re-education of our history taught by us to us will raise the consciousness of black people and forge our way towards black liberation. This is the solution. We have always been the solution. We will always be the solution to our black liberation. And just so you know, this is why I say what I say at the end of each of my videos, because I want you to know, first of all, who I'm talking to in these videos, and second of all, how I feel about who I'm talking to in my videos. I love you, black man. I love you, black woman. Knowledge is power. Power to the people.
Hello guys, welcome once again to the channel. I hope wherever you're watching, you're having a great time. Now, we have known that historically the white power structures have benefited from systemic racism and the existing divisions between and within black people. And that is why they have never wanted any level of unity coming between blacks. For example, remember when blacks created their own Black Wall Street, white power structures and white elites came down through racist white nationalists to burn this entire street down because they were looking at it and they knew that this was the beginning of black people's empowerment and their freedom. So they didn't want that to happen. And that is why they cut short the dream that blacks had to empower themselves and to bend and to depend fully on their own resources. So that was one moment in life where white power structures expressed their dissatisfaction with the unity that is coming between black people. And right now, everybody is able to see that this thing is a reality because globally, they are speaking and they are saying that we can't stand seeing black people united. Why is it so? They know that wherever black unity exists, excellence will come in and blacks will get their total freedom. You know that if you look at the race that is most populated across the world, it is black people. We are highly populated everywhere. And therefore, if we unite or if we allow our unity to come to ourselves, then we shall be able to do greater things and even push barriers that have existed, that have been used to make us feel small and make us not grow at all. In today's video, we're going to look at this. I have a clip of reactions from whites who are speaking and saying that they would never want to see blacks get united. They are not happy about it. And this really explains why the global media has always been used to make blacks look disunited. They have always manufactured conflicts between blacks in the United States and even blacks in Africa. Take a listen to what is going on, then come back and share our thoughts in the end.
Learn when to shut the fuck up sometimes. Stop falling for the trap. The African versus Black American beef is fake and it's funded and it's nowhere in real life. What's actually happening is we're being attacked by white people, white supremacists that run the state. We are being attacked by the American government. We're being attacked by European nations, and we're being divided by the people they're paying online. A lot of them look like us, sellout ass Negroes that are getting online and telling us that our beef is with other people that look like us and other people of color that may not look like us but are not white. And they are selling us this so that we will not rise up against the mayonnaise Martians who actually enslaved us, who actually mass incarcerate us, who actually are pushing us out of jobs, who actually are taking our opportunities, who actually are colonizing black nations. The sellouts and the raccoons of social media are trying to sell us propaganda that we should be fighting other marginalized groups of people instead of fighting the people who are actually fighting us. And it's cowardly and it's bitch made. And we need to stop doing that. Well, we don't speak French. Y'all need to stop doing that because y'all look like hoes. They are paying social media creators to make a fake diaspora war online because the motherfuckers bored. They ain't got no life or no real careers, and they ain't got shit else to do. White supremacists love this. Why? Because while we're fighting online, the real attacks keep coming in real life. Government policies pushing us out of our own neighborhoods that black people have been in historically in the U.S., government sanctions choking African nations, police unaliving us in the streets here in the U.S. and abroad in other countries. It is divide and distract, and it's working. They don't want black Americans linking arms with black Africans. They don't want the diaspora united. They don't want us to have a swimming pool bigger than Kanye, because a united global black movement could challenge the systems that are crushing all of us. From Washington to London to Johannesburg. So the next time you see Africans versus black Americans content and videos, ask yourself, who profits from this? Always remember, we are one people with one history and one struggle. Unite, resist, build, Black August, global black power, Pan-African unity.
You know, Donald Trump will probably be accredited for a lot of things in history, especially once they tally up all of his atrocities committed against humanity, committed against society, committed against the American government and its people, its citizens. But one of the things that I dare say that he might also be accredited for is finally removing the last bit of distractions that kept the African American community divided. I'm not gonna lie, since the election, one thing that I've definitely seen that has been thriving is the unity of black people like none other. Every time I look into my comment section, my faith in unity within our group it's reaffirmed. It's what's the word? I have reassurance even, you understand, especially not just unity within the African American community in itself, but unity between the African American community and the African diaspora. You know, I'm so happy because, not to be cliche or anything, we're gonna be all right. We really are going to be all right. And it's not even no shade. I'm not even like trying to be cute when I say this. We really are going to be all right. Every time I post a video in my comment sections, it's flooded with African American people, black people, Caribbean, African descent people, like literally in America talking about, we're going to be good. We're going to be fine. So while I'm pretty sure Donald Trump doesn't want to be accredited for something like this, I'm pretty sure the plan was to always keep us divided, you understand? He unfortunately, with all of his policies, with all the little distractions that he's taking away, is making us become united. Like once we found out that all of these programs that being removed actually never even benefited us, and then the removal of it just shows that you blatantly do not give a fuck about the African American community or the black community or the Hispanic community or any community of color, the immigrant community. Once we saw that, we locked in. We said, oh, okay, I'm not going to spend no money over there. Oh, you don't want me there? Okay, I won't apply there. Oh, you trying to, you want to make me unemployed? That's cool. It's all right. I'm going to figure out another way. Like, we really said, thank you. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you for the transparency, because that's something that we've been asking for centuries, you know? And now we're going to go into our own lane. We're going to go and create our own lane. And you are not welcomed. That's the best part, is that you are not welcome. There's no more invitations. There's no more extended invitations to any cookouts. Y'all aren't welcome. So thank you for finally removing the rose-colored glasses, for finally making it so that we can see clearly. Because now we're locked in.
I'm going to take it a step further for you. And this is why I know Pan-Africanism, this red, black, and green, is the only way to go. There was a national security memorandum that came out in 1984. I think it was number 46, where a national security agency said there's only one threat to America's global domination: the operational unity of Black America and Black Africa. They said we can never Let Black America and Black Africa unite. It's over. And they even, when you read it, they said the CIA and FBI must be directed to sow dissension between Black Africa and Black America. Why you think they released Black Panther 1?
Yo,
And I'm a Ryan Coogler fan.
Right.
But you do know that there's a congressional committee that oversees Hollywood.
That's correct.
And they pay the movie producers to inject content into the movies that pushes America's global agenda. Look at the Black, you saw Panther 1.
I saw it.
Killmonger, which is really Dr. Umar, that's me. They just didn't give me the name. And I say that because he quoted me verbatim at least 3 times in the movie. Okay? So you got Killmonger over here. You got Prince T'Challa, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman over here. Killmonger represented Black conscious men in America.
That's correct.
T'Challa represented Black leaders in Africa. What was the message? The message was, don't let them Black Americans over here, even though they know their history, they so full of hate, they'll destroy your culture. What did Killmonger do when he got to Wakanda? Destroyed everything. Killed the elder, smacked the sister. You feel me? So the message to Africa was, leave them Black Americans alone. They'll destroy your culture. Look on the flip side. Prince T'Challa said, I'm only concerned about Wakanda. Remember that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Lapita said, we got Black people all over the world. He said, that ain't my problem. This is all I care about. He ain't cared nothing about Africans in the diaspora. So the message to Black America was, Africans don't want you, stay where you are.
Where are you from?
I'm from Montgomery County, Maryland.
Okay, so safe to say African American?
I want to say African.
African, right?
I was born in Africa,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. You know. So, what are your thoughts on Africa? Like, what are your thoughts?
I believe that anybody with this color skin needs to go back home. If you're going to invest in other places to go, you can. But once you start saving and investing, it's an investment, I believe. And that's one of the investments that I plan on making. To go home. I think we all need to go home.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So since you're African American, what do you think about African Americans who don't think they're African?
I don't hold them accountable. What I feel like is the people who know that they are, we need to collectively work together to educate each other, because there's things that we all don't know, and the correct term is ignorant to things, and that's okay. But what are we going to do together as a community to teach each other?
I like your answer. Okay, it's based on compassion, empathy, and understanding each other. So this is the Afritude movement. Thank you for doing an interview. I'm going to give you a free hat. So rock your Afritude. Africa must unite.
It goes with the AVS.
With Afritude, we believe that the strength of Black people worldwide lies in the unity of Africa. So we are educating people, let's go visit, let's spend money on the continent, and let's just focus on the continent instead of going to Europe and other places that don't care about it.
You don't go to the gas station to find out about your family. You don't go to the grocery store to find out about your family. You go to your mother. So if we want to find out about ourselves, we got to go to our mother. That's the motherland. That's Africa.
Oh, wow.
For sure.
Love that. I love that. You're definitely going to go viral.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. All right.
They are the kindest, most sincere people I've ever been around, ever. Forget everything you've ever heard. After you go to Africa, you got to go to Ghana first, then you need to go to Botswana, because you need to see Botswana is the second richest diamond producer nation in the world. Them Black people over there got something. And then you got to go to Johannesburg. That's what you got. You got to do that jump right there. Once you see that, you'll understand who we are. Them Africans ain't stole nothing from us. They talk about Burna Boy stole this. No, we stole from Burna Boy. Them Africans is us, man. They the beat, they the rhythm, they the soul, they the hard work. We get our courage from them. When you see them people, they look just like your family. They walk like us, they look like us, they got moves like us. It's just, you gotta see it. And we gotta My goal is to help bridge this gap because we got to touch base with them because they love y'all, man. You don't even know. They think y'all to catch me out. They think y'all to lick. You know why? Because they know what you went through. They know where them slave ship picked you up at. They know they brought you to a land. They know what they did to you. And y'all still over here shining. If we take this shine back over there and give them the love and teach them that dust, we'd have a powerful union.
African immigrants do not view racism the same way as Black Americans because we were looking at it from two completely different perspectives. Africans grew up in majority Black nations, with Black culture, Black leadership, and Black everything being the norm on a day-to-day basis. It's not the core part of their identity because everyone is majority Black when they look around. Black is the default. So off rip, they are not looking at things through a racial lens. But Black people in America look at everything through a racial lens because we are the minority in a country that was built off of our oppression. And the entire system was designed not only to exclude us, but to capitalize off of that exclusion. So systemic oppression is the struggle that Black Americans are dealing with on the home front. Struggles that people are dealing with in Africa are due to a failing or underdeveloped system. Poverty, corruption, lack of opportunity, economic instability, which is really the legacy of colonialism and neocolonialism. So in their minds, they see America as having a functioning system. They see America as full of opportunity compared to back in Africa. So they come here and they focus on individual advancement, where Black Americans see the system as being historically and currently rigged against us. We are not immigrants. We are people from whom system was explicitly built to oppose. They often see racism as individual prejudice, personal act of meanness or ignorance that can be overcome or ignored on their path to success, where Black people understand that it is systemically embedded feature of law, institution, and economic that create a barrier far beyond individual prejudice. And I think a lot of the disagreement comes from not understanding what something means to be systemic. When something is systemic, a pattern behavior or a culture that is repetitive that many people are perpetuating. Because there are many people in America who are racist and have anti-Black sentiment, and they encompass various positions and roles in America, it makes racism systemic. The system is not a machine, but the individuals who make up the machine. Since so many people are racist, the issue is systemic. They have embedded their personal prejudices into the system. Not only that, are passing down this ideology to their offspring, which makes it more systemic. Anyways, so because of the hurdles that they faced back home, they often see what Black Americans go through as trivial or frivolous or not as hard as compared to what they went through back home. That's where the ideology that Black Americans are lazy comes from, because they face national systemic instability in their homelands. But what they are not understanding is that what Africa is going through is a core function of systemic racism. It is systemic racism on a global scale. Systemic instability for Black Americans is internal. It's redlining, it's mass incarceration, it's police brutality, it's education inequity. But for Africa, it's the deliberate underdevelopment of the entire continent that is primarily populated by Black people. It's the European powers carving up the continent with no regards for ethnic, linguistic, or cultural boundaries, and the creation of artificial nations primed for internal conflict. It's the exploitation used by Western corporations and financial institutions like IMF and the World Bank, pillaging resources and dictating economic policy through debt. This is economic racism on a global scale. The ideology that justified slavery in America, the belief in white supremacy, and the inferiority of Black people is the exact same ideology that justified the colonization of Africa. Africans say, I came over here and succeeded, why can't you? They are comparing overcoming poverty caused by global anti-racism, anti-Blackness, i.e. colonialism, to the Black American experience of overcoming poverty by domestic anti-Black racism,
We are battling the monsters created by the same beast, white supremacy. One monster was unleashed abroad to destabilize and plunder nations. The other was built at home to control and exploit the population. Defeating one does not mean the other does not exist. It just means you're fighting in a different arena. Anyways, if you're new here, welcome. Almost my entire page is dedicated to deconstructing white supremacy. And this particular topic is the foundation of a new theory that I'm working on called the diasporic division stratagem. And this video is already too long, but I already have an entire playlist dedicated to it, and I will be expanding upon it soon. But basically, the gist of it is white supremacy created all of this friction between Black Americans and people of the diaspora so that we would never come together and fight global white supremacy. But we actually have more in common than we have apart. And our main fight will always be against white supremacy. And I want us to always remember that.
I always find it ironic that in places called third world countries, the quality of life can be so much more vibrant, invigorating, filled with real relationships, laughter, joy, that we don't get here in the US. For example, when I would go to Jamaica growing up, I always noticed that work wasn't as much of a priority. And then I realized that in the US, we live to work, and in other countries, they work to live. In the US, we value our luxuries. We love having things. We go to Amazon, we click, we buy. It's a ton of consumerism. It's a ton of prioritizing these material things, but we don't prioritize human connection the same way. Living in the West, it's a very I-focused society. So we are focused on ourselves, our gain, our lives, our world. And when you go to another country where it's more we-centric, it's less individualistic and more of a collective, there's just this level of laughter and joy and connection. In Jamaica, we party with each other. We party with our friends, our family. They may not have as much monetarily, but they have so much more joy. They're gonna play dominoes, they're gonna connect, they're gonna meet up, they're gonna talk. Those types of things don't happen in the US as much because we're all so busy doing business. We all got our own things going on. It's big as hell. You're all the way in this state, I'm all the way in that state. It's just not the same kind of environment that fosters those really deep connections. So whenever quality of life comes up and is in question, I always find it ironic because in my mind, there is way more than one definition of a good quality of life. And I guess it really depends on what variables you look at to decide what is quality.
Welcome back to the channel. Now, listening to the videos that I've played for you, you'll get to understand that this unity among Black people is something that no one ever wants to see come into fruition. They don't want to see us united. They don't want to see us come together and work together. They always just want to push stories of lies, of disunity that exists among Blacks. And I can tell you, and I've always told people all the time, that this disunity that is always talked about only exists in the media. When it comes to Africa, I've never seen an African American come from United States, go to any African country and get disrespected. We respect everybody. In fact, you come here, you'll find that you look like most of us, and no one will even start worrying about how you live your life. We will give you free time to live. And that is why also I've always encouraged Black Americans watching me that if you are able, take time and come visit the motherland. We have a lot to offer. This kind of air that we breathe here, you can never get it anywhere else. It is one of the cleanest airs that we have. You will come, meet people who are friendly, and they will never show you even a dot of hatred that has always been perpetuated and talked about by Western media. So I can tell you for free that Blacks in Africa don't have anything against Blacks in the United States. And these white power structures that have always benefited from us getting disunited are fighting day and night to ensure that this elusive unity never comes into existence. Historically, white power structures have benefited from systemic racism which thrives in divisions and inequality. Black unity globally threatens this dynamic by fostering a collective strength and coordinated resistance against oppression. Unified black communities can challenge economic exploitation, political marginalization, and cultural erasure, which disrupts the status quo that has long favored white dominance. Black unity amplifies demands for justice and reparations, forcing white power structures to confront uncomfortable truths about historical and ongoing injustices. This solidarity can lead to organized movements that challenge policies and institutions like policing, education, and wealth distribution that disproportionately harm Black people. Such movements threaten the entrenched privilege of white elites. Globally, Black unity connects struggle across continents, from the United States to Africa and the Caribbean, creating a powerful narrative of a shared identity and purpose. This interconnectedness undermines neocolonial systems that rely on fragmented Black people to maintain Western economic and political control. A unified Black diaspora could disrupt global resource exploitation and demand equitable treatment. White Americans, shaped by a culture of individualism and racial hierarchy, often perceive Black unity as a threat to their social and economic standing. Media portrayals and historical propaganda have ingrained stereotypes that frame Black collective action as dangerous or divisive, fostering fear rather than understanding. This perception fuels resistance to Black unity as a challenge to white cultural norms. Finally, Black unity exposes the fragility of white supremacy's narrative. When Black people organize globally, they create alternative systems of knowledge, culture, and power that don't rely on white validation. This shift diminishes the perceived superiority of white institutions and forces a reckoning with the moral and practical failures of systemic racism, which many white Americans and power structures resist acknowledging. And I think here we have the best understanding of the main reason behind this perpetuation of a narrative that says that Blacks in Africa hate Blacks in America or Blacks in the Caribbean. I can tell you that if you look at the founding fathers of African nations, as it were, you will get to understand that there was a unity that was disrupted by colonialists who came to the continent and wanted to have us divided and continue remaining as different states so that they have this ability to exploit our continent without us having a unified resistance against them. And I think this is also the same script that they have deployed to Blacks across the world. We have Blacks in the Caribbean, in the United States, everywhere in the world, and even in Africa. And these people have always been told to hate one another. Is this the best way that we can go forward? I believe that we need this unity. It will help us fight against systemic racism and institutionalized elimination of Black people, as it were. Share your thoughts down in the comment section. And if watching us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share. Thank you, and let's meet on the next one.